For some reason, I can't get it to acknowledge the speakers on the monitor. It's not one of the options it offers me anymore. Oh, actually, let me try some. See how that is.
Who to close up when you got Karen and me for some reason.
Somebody say, Joe, say something.
Something.
That speaker's a little better. We'll use that one. Okay.
You're gonna moderate?
No way.
Is this the meeting you mean to be at, Russ? I don't think so. I think
Where is it?
it's not tonight.
No,
It's Wednesday.
oh, this Wednesday.
Yes, when your colleague sent that notice out, he didn't check with me. I have to do this tonight, so it's Wednesday night here. I'll see you then.
You can stay.
Oh, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Good to see you anyway.
You can sit at me.
Corrections.
Good to see you
to
too.
the Past minutes of December 1st meeting. No problems. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the meeting
I'll
of
second.
December 1st. All in favor?
Hi.
I,
Changes to the agenda?
Just Janet Blanchett may zoom in at some point and we wanna fit her in when that happens. She said probably wouldn't be till 7. So if we have to move her around a little, we can.
Okay. Correspondence?
I don't have anything new. And finances, I don't have anything new from I asked for an updated report if the turkey trot stuff was finalized, but I didn't get anything back. I don't know if turkey trot's still waiting. Anyway,
Is
same
that further
finance,
down? I don't wanna.
same financial
see,
report as
events.
last time.
No correspondence, we'll move on to finances.
Just did that.
You did.
Same as last month.
Okay. There are no citizen comments, or is there something on the,
Well, Joe and Valerie are both on Zoom, if either one of them has any comments.
I do not.
okay, so now we're on to events. You're on, Brian, turkey trot.
Okay, no, Karen, I don't have any further update from Mr. Levency on whether or not those numbers were actually finalized. I don't think it's been his high priority in January. He has yet to, at least as of last week, put out a thank you letter in the shopper's guide, thanking our sponsors. I've reminded him a couple of times for that. We have not done anything, obviously, this early for the new year. The tentative date is November 8th for this year's turkey trot. And I guess I don't have anything further to update at this time.
Just under events, we are still planning for the Citizens Academy thing, which was the follow-up to the Ask Me Anything. Right now, we are planning 7 weeks, starting the second Wednesday of April and going through May. Each of those weeks is supposed to have a specific topic.
I'm sorry, what day?
So they're gonna be Wednesdays, starting,
Second week of April.
which I believe is the 8th.
So it'll be every week through those.
For 7
7 weeks.
weeks. And I believe we have the 5th week tentatively scheduled for recreation, Trails and Thompson together. If somebody from Trails would like to be a presenter. Each of the weeks is going to be a 2-hour session on a given topic. Rec would be the main focus, but one of the reasons we chose some of the topics is that we know that there are volunteer commissions and boards and whatever that are looking for volunteers. And in addition to sort of educating on what local government, how it works and what people do, is a way to generate interest. So that date's tentative for Trails and Rec.
Like mid-May, that would. fall
Yeah,
into-
so it would be the fifth week, so that would be I think it would be the first Wednesday in May. Brian, could you confirm that?
We're starting again when, the first?
The eighth of April, so the eighth,
8th of April, so
22nd,
1,
29th,
2, 3, 4, that'll be May 6th.
so May sixth. And there would need to be coordination between whoever represents Trails and Lead and See, but I think the tentative aim is to do like a tour in the shuttle that they bought for the seniors of like some facilities and maybe up to the new parking lot and area for the train wreck memorial.
As long as my schedule is clear, I'm fine with doing.
Also tentative.
We could have more than one
especially
do
the ones
it.
that are tour involved. But
But, so it's not in a room you're gonna travel around with?
That's what Max.
well, it's kind of up to you guys.
Okay,
That's why I'm saying it's tentative, like both the date in this case is tentative. There's only 3 dates that are fixed. The first, which is like a local government one-on-one, and then the 2 dates that I'll be leading, because I only have certain Wednesdays that I'm available. But the others, we can move them around to make it work with people's schedules. And I'm not dictating the curriculum to the other leaders, just, it's gotta be something that's interactive and sort of about the group of boards or whatever, so recreation and trails. We thought a tour of some of the facilities and trails would be a good idea. The ones that are more classroomy are gonna be 6 to 8 at the library, but obviously that's gonna be late to do anything like that, so it could be earlier. But that's something you'd have to coordinate with Leave and See as to which date, what time, what activities would be best. And if nobody signs up, we're not doing it, but
so you're asking people to sign up ahead?
we are gonna ask
Okay.
people to sign up ahead. We're gonna open it up in March
To the whole town, the general public.
to anybody really, on the on the high class problem to have that we get oversubscribed, which I highly doubt.
Yeah.
We would give preference to registered Thompson voters, but we're not gonna limit it to anybody unless we get oversubscribed.
Okay, also under events. We have Connecticut Trails Day coming up. So we'll have an April meeting before that, but the first weekend in June, we need to think about if we're gonna do a hike or anything. So,
Thoughts? I don't know. I mean, I don't have a problem doing something, but any thoughts on?
Probably do that train walk like we.
Do another-
Walk.
okay.
Or anything different? You want me to maybe bring people up to the Leclerc property and get input on trails and stuff that we might be putting in that area?
I don't know that area at all. Not gonna lie.
Neither do I.
I've
Never
never
been
been
there. Just trying to change it up. I don't know if we're ready to do that or not.
We do a paddle. Behind the, I don't know what you call it anymore, cause it's for sale.
Yeah. Grosvenor Dale Pond.
Pond,
Grosvenor
yeah.
Pond or-
I mean, we can offer more than one thing if we have the volunteers. So anyway, that's the 6th and 7th. Think about it. I don't know if we have.
I wouldn't mind doing a paddle. I mean. It's a nice place to paddle up back there and it's. Smooth. In June, the water's pretty high. I've done one through, I wanna say for Connecticut Trails Day for like the last, maybe 6 years.
Paddle?
Not a paddle, but something. I think I did a paddle a couple of years back, maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was around that.
And how many
Yeah.
people show?
3. That's the one I told you guys about. I don't know if you remember. Again, I kid showed up with, I think it was his parents, and I was just like, I only see one boat, what's gonna happen here? And he opened it up and took this big stand-up paddleboard out, and his dog proceeded to ride on the front of it, and he kept throwing the stick, and dog would jump off. The dog swam literally the 2 miles that we paddled, a mile up and a mile back. Like, the dog loved the water. It was awesome. But we didn't get many people, but
Well, so where do you
Something
think,
different.
I mean, we always have people when it's a trade thing, we always have people when it's a tri-state.
we just did the tri-state, so that's why I'd like to change it up to something. I don't know if somebody, that's why I was saying, if somebody has an idea, I don't know the Claire property. I mean, I could go up there. If
It's
it's,
not really.
is there anything interesting
It's
there?
not, they didn't really say it's open yet,
Yeah,
because they wanna put trails in,
Right,
so I don't think that would work for the public.
yeah.
yeah.
You
Just a thought.
you could see if Recreation is doing another date with Brenda from the Gravestone Girls, because isn't one of the cemeteries right off of the airline trail?
Sort of.
Like, how sort of?
If you cross, right after Anya's where the airline trail crosses, that one cemetery that we've used for other talks is right there. I mean, it's
West Thompson.
not even a tenth of a mile, less than that, right off but you gotta walk on that road. And then,
So,
the other one is right off the trail, but it's not really, that's the alpaca farm, and they've had problems up there and put some trees across, like, they don't have problems with people walking back there, I understood it. But I haven't been back there in a while either, since they cut all those big trees down, but that cemetery that's almost in my neighborhood is right less than a tenth of a mile off that trail.
But it might be obstructed.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it was just an idea.
Yeah,
not my house, but you know how where the turntable is, where their trail goes into their property, if you go up that trail, and then is it Shady Lane or something that's back there? There's a cemetery in that little neighborhood. I want to say for your couple years back when they did the kids program where they
Trail
did,
camp, yeah.
yeah, that's the one that cemetery is the one they went to and did some of the
Right,
tracings.
that's why I thought there was one.
But it's not the airline trail, that's off the trail that goes behind the alpaca farm, off the airline trail. And since then, they've had, it's been a while still for that, but they had some issues with some people and stuff back there with four-wheelers and cutting the fence to the alpacas and.
Are there any other trails? I don't even know all the trails on the map that we don't usually do, because again, every year it's the tri-state marker. Last year we had the ribbon cutting at the train wreck park. It always seems to be that area. And
Well, you know what we could do? I could do one on the Orange Trail from Red Bridge Road on Cheney Road, because it wouldn't be, again, if you do the full dam loop, it's 8 miles. That's a big track. But since the bridge is in now, that probably cuts off, it's probably about 4 to 5 miles, I'll guess. I mean, how big is it around the whole dam?
is that the one we did once, maybe about 5 years ago?
I did,
or something?
yeah.
Yeah.
I-
It's been a while.
But that was
since we did
before the
that.
bridge was put in is when I did it, and we had to go all the way up to the dam and then come all the way. Now you can cut right over the Blaine Bridge. So that really cuts out, like, I don't know how long it is around the dam itself. But it's gotta be 3 miles at least, maybe more. So instead of 8 miles, if it's only 5, that's not too bad. I mean, I'd be willing to do that. You think that's better than a paddle? I did get more people when I did that one.
Mhm.
I think I had about 8.
We have to clear that with the Army Corps.
Well, it's their property, but
We let them know, they don't usually have an issue, but we can just let them know. I can do that one if that one sounds better. It's been a while, but it's a nice walk.
All right, I mean, if we decide somebody wants to leave something else the same weekend, can figure that out.
I'd like to offer an idea, if you don't mind. Is trails necessary requiring a trail, or is a walk that has no trail, but it's from point A to point C? Does it matter that it is a trail?
I don't think so.
how about the walk, all the kinds area over there, do something up there?
You can do it after later November. Usually there's 2 every year. There's the one that goes near Pulaski Park, but it's in the Thompson side. That's done by Wyndham Land Trust, Jeff Stefanik. And then the other one is the one that is done early December at Werge Carnfield. We could do another Werge Carnfield one if you wanted in first weeks of March.
Well, Joe, this is June. The first weekend in June is Connecticut Trails Day.
I
Okay.
understand. The one I was going to suggest in June is if you did want, every time we've done it, we've had between 50 and 100 people. And that's when we start at the library, the old library. We go around the Thompson Common and then we go on the Marianapolis property and we just do a kind of a scenic tour. And again, every time we've done it 4 times over the past 20 years. It could be time for another one. It's 250th.
Yeah.
Kind of the theme could be the 250th. What's
Yeah, it's a good
new?
thing for the 250 thing. Historic area there.
Yeah, that would fit nicely. Summer looks pretty good by that point.
Maybe we do that in June and you do the trail, Blaine Road Bridge Trail and, for the walk.
October, that's fine. I can't lead anything that's over there historic. I mean, I'll help any way I can, but I'm definitely not the know-how on, any of the talk around that area, but I can help with.
Does that mean you're volunteering, Joe?
Of course, of course.
Just
Look
checking.
at that. Joe's the man.
Do you want to submit that or do you want me to submit that?
Well, then where do we submit?
You have to do it to Connecticut Trails Day. I mean, I can do it if you want to write up something of what it would be, and then I can submit it to Connecticut Trails Day. I don't think that opens up to start doing submissions until, I think it's April 1st, I want to say, or something like that.
Yeah, I'll draft something for you.
Okay, and you can send it to Karen. You probably have her email. If you have mine, you can send it right to me. It doesn't matter, but I'm saying, and she can get it to me, and then I can use that as the write-up for what that will be, where it starts, where we can park, like is it on the Thompson Common and those roads, right?
Well, the roads are public roads and we
Right.
don't have any no parking
Yep.
rules in town. I would not encourage you to tell people they can park on the common
No.
because we
Correct.
don't own it.
Mhm.
But any town roads are available for parking unless otherwise posted. And quite frankly, even if they are otherwise posted, who's gonna be towing anyone?
Agreed. Marianapolis might agree. I have to ask permission from Marianapolis anyway. They might give us some parking. Valerie has her hand up.
Yeah, 'cause graduation must be somewhere around that time.
Valerie?
Valerie's got her hand up, yes, and Janet just came in.
Yep, I like Joe's idea a lot, and I'm not a gardener. The, do the rhododendrons bloom? Because isn't that around that time? Those would be beautiful to look at in June.
They're a little earlier, Valerie. like,
No, but rhododendrons are
Or in June.
in June,
Are
because
they?
lilacs are May, and then rhododendrons are after. In fact,
I can
they
look
may
up my
even be
pictures.
late June rhododendrons. I think of them as later.
Later in June. Depends on the weather, really.
It does depend on the weather. Azaleas are early.
Yeah, Zoe's a good girl.
Okay, so that's sort of a plan.
So, Joe, if you talk to to Marianapolis, I know you probably have better contacts, obvious, than me, but whatever permissions that we need over there, and if you send me the little write-up or send it to Karen, then I will submit it to Connecticut Trails Day. Do we want this to be a registered event? So we would like limit it to a certain amount of people? Because that's one of the things that they ask.
I don't know if you think more than 100 requires registration, but it's usually 50 to 100 people come.
Okay,
Then we have to decide Saturday or Sunday of that weekend.
it's Joe's idea, but I prefer Saturday, but I'm open.
Fine. And I would just say, if you feel that you're getting a lot of registrations, I don't know if this is even possible. We did one year, we did it twice. We did it a Saturday and a Sunday. You might not want to put that much time into it, but if you're getting a lot of registrations, it might make sense. So, it's 250th year, people might be interested.
Right.
I'll leave it to you. Single one, unless, we need to double up if there's too many people signing up.
I can, put the rain date, maybe do it Saturday and put the rain date as Sunday.
Yeah, that works.
sounds fine.
We might hit the rhododendrons. The biggest ones around my house bloomed at around June 2nd last year.
Oh,
But their time that they remain flowering is usually a week or less, so might be some overlap.
Couple more questions I would have is what time do you think is a good time and how long do you think it would last and like what's the distance?
it's about an hour and 15 minutes tops. And the distance is, I think it's an easy walk. It might be a mile and a quarter.
What time do you think is a good time to start it?
You say it's going to be Saturday, might be good for 11.
Okay. And maybe maybe we can get some of those fine people that come out to stay in Thompson and get some food somewhere.
There we go.
All right.
Or dine at the William Mason House. I'm not paying.
Special deal for those who hike.
Okay, I'm gonna just throw out a couple of dates that came up in the 12 Town Alliance meeting, just so you make a note of them. There's something on May 16th called Ride the East, and they're talking about planning it for the Airline State Park North section, but I don't know where. So that's in the planning. And then June 18th is the third Thursday Willimantic Street Fest or something along those lines.
Yep.
And the Alliance is going to have a table and do some promotion about the Alliance. And they're asking whether each individual town wants to have their own table. So this is in Willimantic. We don't have to decide tonight, but we think about it. I was thinking the only thing we would really want to do is if we wanted to sell train t-shirts, maybe do a big order and sell shirts that other people wouldn't be doing, but it's the airline, so. I'm just throwing that out. Well, we can talk more when we get to the Alliance stuff. Go on to events because to trail updates. Because Janet's here and we're gonna.
Yep, we'll
talk
go
to
back
her.
to Janet.
Yeah.
Get the floor.
Well, let me prep. We talked about options for resurfacing some of the airline trail and if we could afford it ourselves. And last month we said, well, we really need a design and an analysis before we can do a grant. So we're talking about the grant for next year. I'm just going to throw out that what came up in the Alliance meeting was that they're hoping that $30 million is going to come in bonding funding finally out of committee for soft surface trails. It didn't go out of committee last year. I think that's what's up, but they're trying to get it again. So anyway, we may not end up having to pay for the surfacing, but it sure would be good to have a design plan ready if that money came available. So anyway, we talked to Janet about what they would need to give us something that we could then proceed to get bidding on. Did you two get a
We
chance to
did talk,
So you
briefly
explain it
today.
better, or somebody explain it better than I can, what we need.
Well, what you need is gonna depend on what you wanna do to some extent, and Janet and I did talk, so you go ahead, Janet, cause yours is the expertise involved. I'm just sort of the logician about grants.
I guess, well, it's my understanding from talking to both of you that you'd like to, get one of those trail grants, apply for it next year. But you need to have the scope more defined, and you need to have the scope more defined both in terms of what engineering do you need and also define in terms of what construction is needed. I understand you're considering like a pretty long stretch, like a 3-mile stretch. So what's needed in, one section might be different from what's needed in another section. So my thought is that you need some kind of like an initial assessment to, walk the whole section and, make make notes of like what areas need the most drainage, what need grading, what need trees, and have some kind of like a preliminary report where you could generate the type of cost estimates that would let you know how much final engineering would be required and ballpark costs for construction. So I said, like, J&D site designs could work on an hourly basis on the assessment if you were interested in that. And like you said, that would tell how much engineering you would need and surveying to get your grant.
Do you have a question?
I'm thinking in my head, I don't know what the surveying means, because isn't it already surveyed as far as being the Airline Trail State Park, or is it more than that or different than that?
If there's going to be like a major construction activities, and you need like a real survey by a surveyor to generate construction plans. Now, I don't think you'd need that for sections that mostly just need resurfacing. But if you have, a drainage issue and somebody needs to design so many hundreds of feet of a riprap swale going to a catch basin, going to a culvert, then, you need actual survey plans.
Right? And what if I know specifically we have two areas that would be of concern with that, and they're not, I wouldn't say they're small, but they're not like, it's not even a tenth of a mile. So like under the highway where 395 crosses the Airline Trail, that's a spot that's typically always wet. And then if you go up to, I always get it, 197, where 197 crosses the trail, is it
193.
193. I always say 7 and it's 3. Where 193 crosses the Airline Trail, there's always water underneath there. So that's definitely a spot that needs drainage. And there are wetlands that's by there because there's a swamp right on one side of it. And then on the other side, there might even be water. But so those two particular areas, I definitely know something like that has to happen probably, because it's always wet.
Right. So I mean, that's another cost to factor in, is getting a soil scientist to delineate wetlands if it's going to be, close to wetlands in those areas.
So what we're talking about is 3 phases, the last one being actual construction. So the first phase is we hired JD Engineering, and she gave me an estimate of $2,000 to $4,000 out of our kitty. So we make a motion if we want to do that. They will go out this spring and see which areas actually need additional design. Then we can decide if we're paying for additional design, or we want to put that into a grant, because maybe the surfacing is going to come from the state. So we working in 3 phases. So what we would need tonight, if we want JD Engineering to do an initial assessment this spring, and she was saying April-ish, right? So that you could see when the water is a problem, not doing it in August, but doing it when it's wet. Then we would make a motion tonight if we want to spend money out of our kitty to do this now. More questions?
I don't have a
I'm
question.
just wondering how much of any construction we want to pay for. The original idea was to surface, and you would hope that, hey, the state would eventually fix the problem areas, since we've already been having that discussion with them. So do we even want to be looking at construction areas, or just looking at resurfacing the areas that can be resurfaced and hold off on construction until we have more input and feedback from the state? Because that would probably cost more than the resurfacing. And I can't see us paying for that.
No.
No.
But all right, so you and I, we did a little bit of an estimate, and then when I talked to the construction guy that worked in Southbridge, he came up with a totally bigger number for amount of material we need.
But that's what we want to know, is just
that's
the
what we want,
material
but we can't-
resurfacing, not construction. I can't see us putting in storm drains and doing all that stuff. And if there's an area we don't want to surface until that's decided, then we skip that area. But do we just want to resurface what we can resurface?
Well, how do your
Definitely.
trucks go through with the material if you've got bad areas?
I guess
Did I-
I'm also a little, you guys are way more familiar with that stretch of trail than I am. But I mean, resurfacing in my mind, resurfacing is like minimal grading. You're literally just spreading a top course. But if you have areas that need to be crowned or are soft and mushy, then, you might need to bring in some, sub-base and base gravel first, grade that off, crown it, compact it, and then put your wearing surface on it. So like those are the kind of things I don't know how close, what you need really.
Yeah, that stuff in 193, I think, is mostly crowning and it's not draining. Yeah.
Right,
So I think that the assessment strategy up front would be money well spent for you, because no other activity that you're gonna do, whether it's as simple as resurfacing or pursuing something, is gonna be able to proceed until you know what you're up against. Also, remember, anything that you do on the trail, Deep needs to approve. Even if other money is gonna be coming down the pipe later, it actually might support you getting Deep to do it if you have even just the base assessment step going out. Now, the Rec Trails grant, when I talked to Kim last fall, or possibly to Bruce, to somebody last fall, there was some rumbling that this would be the last round of Rec Trails grants that they were gonna do. But maybe that was just at the time, right? Those things change all the time. Each piece you do that pushes the ball further up the court helps you later. Like, even if you do the design and you've got to sit on it until some new grant program comes around, then you're still ahead of the game. For the Rec Trails, remember, is a 20% match as well. So every dime you spend on pre-grant application activities is something
Still,
no, is something you can't count in your match later.
Oh.
They don't generally allow you
To go back.
to look back on match. You can propose in-kind match as part of what you're doing, but it would have to be in-kind match
That year.
within the project.
so I'm not gonna lie, my whole thought of like that whole thing is from your road to Lowell Davis Road to Sandam Road. Cause it's really from Sandam Road to the,
well, when we were looking at it, we were talking a little
The whole
Davis
thing.
all the way up to the whole thing, the train wreck park. We didn't go up to the Mass border. We
No.
didn't go back to the area by Route 200 that needs reconstruction.
right?
And we know there's that bad area over there. We're not even we're looking at areas that are just trap rock and stuff that are difficult for bikes to ride over and doesn't really need much research. It doesn't even have big hills going up to the street. It's not like Sunset Hill. It's not like 193 by the cemetery. You're basically flat. So you're not gonna have the erosion issues you have in some of the areas they previously surfaced. So I don't know that it would be on the more expensive side for J&D. So I'm willing to go ahead and say we should make that motion, knowing that we're probably not gonna spend to the high end, especially once we get Janet or whoever she assigns out there to see what exactly we're talking about.
But that's what I
We're
was
not
saying,
looking at worst case scenario.
What
The
part
worst
of the
case
trail?
is that wet part.
right, under the highway and under
Between
the,
Lowell Davis and Sand Dam, under the bridges. And that could probably be solved with crowning.
but that's the part of the trail that again, from Sandam Road to the Mass line, it's gravel,
That's
it's not,
really-
you can ride it on a bike,
Now,
it's not that bad.
right.
But-
We could surface it just for the sake of surfacing it.
Right.
And that's where our original discussion was, how much would it cost to resurface that? Or surface it, as you would say. Which there's no construction at all there. The biggest issue is between Lowell Davis and
Sandam Road.
For the stuff we want to add to. The biggest issue is 200, but we're not looking at that right now.
I don't think that's getting worse, only because I think they fixed the drain when Joe went up there and found that drain, like, we had no idea that drain was there and that it was clogged.
Yeah.
Clearly the reason why the water went onto the trail there.
But still repairing the damage would be a little more expensive there because of how badly it's eroded. Because I would like to do the whole trail if we could, but I don't know what it's gonna cost. That's what Janet has to tell us.
And
So.
I mean, if you want us to go ahead with it, obviously I would make an appointment with you. You know, the committee members who are knowledgeable about it and have the time to do it, and we can, you know, walk it together.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So, a motion,
So you said at the high end about 4,000,
4,000?
so we'll again cover that and I'll make a motion that we. Spend up to $4,000 for J&D to survey and. Help plan for possible resurfacing of the trail between Lowell Davis Road and the train wreck park, we'll say. Is that sufficiently detailed for a motion?
I'd second it.
All in favor?
She's writing, so let her catch up.
that's okay.
Okay, all right, we'll let it right.
With an emphasis, if it's Lowell Davis to the train wreck park, but starting with Lowell Davis to Sandam, and if we run out of money, because it's for some reason taken too long.
Yeah, we can
Okay, I mean, just saying that that's the.
still do it in
emphasis.
sections, yeah.
I'd rather start there, yeah, and work towards that way than the opposite, yeah.
Okay, all in favor? All in, or any more discussion?
So from Low Days to Sunset and Sunset Hill.
Now Sunset Hill to Lowell Davis was done.
That's
Mechanicsville to Lowell Davis is done. It was never touched from Lowell Davis north.
And they didn't do any resurfacing from where they put the new parking lot in all the way to the train, to the,
Well, the trail, the new trail they put in, that's all stone.
yeah, but not from the parking lot to the turntable.
No.
Again, but I agree to the train wreck park, because I think the surface is, if the state comes through with stone dusting for that area, I think it's just stone dusting in those areas, because it's way high, there's never any water damage, like water issues. The trail's like 30-40 feet up off the.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just a
The
matter of,
blocks.
again, J&D could tell us how much material we need, so we would know what it would cost us to do that area.
Right, and I don't know, there might be some sections that even if you don't need a lot of grading because of debris buildup of, you know, leaves falling and weeds and stuff, that you still might have to like scrape off the, you know, the layer and prepare it before you bring down. So you still need construction equipment potentially before you then spread the stone dust.
And you're gonna have more of that over by Sandam, where it comes out to the road where it's all brush all the time.
Hmm.
And it's not as wide of a trail there, and it's supposed to be, what, 10 feet wide, 12 feet?
Well, not the resurfacing part, but the trail itself is, yeah. Because you have the gullies on both sides. That was the drainage from before. Like she said, it's filled with debris, but there are drainages that's there. I want to say they did, was it like 8 feet wide where they stone dust?
Oh, you have the recommendations.
Yeah.
That it was supposed to be, what, 10 or 12?
Well, no, they told me it had to be 6 inches. They said 10 feet,
10
but
feet.
then you said there's some places where it's only
That
5.
aren't 10 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But again, that's the motion. I don't know. I mean,
Mhm.
are there any moguls?
Anyone?
Moguls. To deal with. Not really super bad, but again, I think as the longer time goes, there will be. There's a few from the as you get north closer to the state line in that section, you know what I mean, from the.
That used to be really bad.
It used to be really bad, but they're not really, it's not like you're going like this, they're more little rollers, I guess, than moguls, I would say, because it's not that bad to walk on. When you're walking on moguls, it's like you're up and you're down and it's stinky to walk on, but the part that we're talking about up to Sandam Road is a lot of trap rock, and in some
Mhm.
places that's got, it's grooved up. We have problems mowing it because there's, a pile of the trap rock on the sides. So you gotta watch the angle of the mower because, it's higher there, but I'm sure that stuff would need some kind of, again,
Yeah, that would be great.
but just like Janet
Janet,
was saying on there is an area, and I had talked to a friend of mine who does stuff like that, and underneath that bridge where the water always go, he said, you're gonna have to come in here and scrape all this, cause it's like organic material. And you're gonna have to put a base layer down first before you can like put any stone dust on it, because otherwise it's just gonna
Yeah.
kind of all seep into it. And that organic material doesn't drain, it just holds the water. So I know that already, but that'll come out in the whatever you want to call that, engineer study,
the assessment,
assessment,
the
that.
assessment.
Okay,
So
so
the motion was made, seconded,
Discussed.
and we've had discussion. Final vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Janet's got a job.
Okay, then, come spring when we can see the ground, we'll, make an appointment to get out there and check it out.
And that agreement letter, Janet, would go to Karen for trails, not to the town, because their funds are their own.
Okay. And actually, before the weather clears, I can maybe try to gather up some of the available state LiDAR topography and, see if I can put together some linear map. You'll probably need that for your grant.
okay, great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Enjoy your skiing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great year for it.
Sure is.
Okay, so, I'm not sure where we are in the, trail updates, but we've done Airline Park,
Well,
options for stone dust, resurfacing, the train wreck, next steps.
all right, let's skip to the Pomeroy's marker in case
Okay.
Joe doesn't want to sit through all this.
You ready?
Yeah,
So last I heard that we have to apply in March. They told us they would allow us to resubmit, and Tira told, I guess, the town highway department, we think we've got an acceptable marker location. Can it be installed? And the answer was yes, we can be installed.
what
So
location?
it's on the gentle curve, the beginning of the gentle curve. And it actually can be a bit off the road. There's a little bit of a distance in the Pomeroy grant they allow. So that'll work as long as it's on town property. The text is very limited. I sent you a copy of the text previously, Karen. If you want me to send it, I can. The number of letters are very limited, but it's enough to say that 3 people perished as a result of the accident on this site, 1891. And it also was the site of the East Thompson train station. So that's pretty much what it says. That's it. When I get the form, Tira stamps it or somebody from the town stamps it, I submit it, and money is ours, the grant is ours.
Happy to stamp as required.
Thank
So
you.
is this anything we have to do matching funds for? I'm not
No.
fully familiar, okay.
They provide and they ship too, right? They ship the sign, they prepare the sign and they ship it, and then we install it.
Okay,
So that's
That's it.
essentially our match, is the labor to install.
okay. Nice.
That's my story.
Okay, thank you. So let's go backwards. What, Joe, did you want to say something?
Yes, I actually did want to bring one more thing up. I know we're still on the airline trail, but I did want to, I do have to jump in a minute, but I wanted to tell you, if the Wurges were interested in opening up a bigger trail on the property for the Werge Carnfield, so that it make it more of a year-round thing instead of something we only do in the winter. If it was your team here, if that was something that you were willing to entertain, we could approach the Werges and ask them, would you want to do more with the site? And I've shown 4 or 5 sites to them on a map and said, if you want to go visit what other people have done with these private cornfields, it is a sensitive topic sometimes where people say, why are you showing such things? You're going to allow them to get damaged. And my answer is the opposite. They're going to get damaged if you don't tell people how special they really are. So there's somewhere between the two extremes is maybe a point to it. So I just wanted to get that on your docket and maybe consider a more formal approach to it. And then I could approach the Werges if anyone's interested. That's it. That's what I wanted to tell you.
Well, all right, but I don't know if everybody here is familiar with it. And this would mean some maintenance there's a field before you go in there, right? So that would need mowing before you even get to the cairn field, correct?
That's correct.
I think most of that parking area, they got some crushed stone down there. I don't know if we can mow it.
No, beyond that, there was a field.
Near the house.
Way down past the house.
Walking to the.
Well,
house.
I don't know
You
if
leave
there's
the parking lot, then you walk through a grassy field before you get to the north.
But there was a
Marked
path.
trail.
I don't know, because when I was there, we had actually talked to Werge about they needed somehow to mow that or something. I don't know. We'd have to talk about access, but also then if trails say they want to be involved, are we gonna have to monitor for damage and incursions and stuff?
That's right.
No, he wants to help clean it up this year, a lot of the trees that are falling and stuff on the cairns, however you say it. So maybe if we're more involved too with cleanup, then he might be more willing to work with us.
Why don't you invite him to your April meeting?
Mm-hmm. Probably a good idea.
Do that?
That's good enough. Let's just start somewhere, and if it's not of interest, it's okay. I understand. It's under preservation easement right now for the Historical Society. So it's not like we haven't come a long way. We just want to continue the progress there. It's such a rare site. That's all I can tell you. There's very few like it anywhere in New England.
And
My biggest concern, which he probably has too, is opening it up and people wandering beyond where they should be. Because I know there are other, as we've talked about, Joe, other cairn sites on other people's property in that area, and they don't want the public anywhere near their sites.
Right.
So we'd have to be careful about how this is handled.
Yeah. Understood. This may go nowhere as a conversation. I get that.
No, it's a good conversation to have. It's good to involve him, but we have to figure what else happens. And I know he's planning to hopefully purchase other property there, which could, while we have ponds on it, it might extend walkability of the area.
on Bull Davis.
Yeah.
I'd never get to make one of those. I'm always something, but
Now's the time to go. You say the word and we'll get permission, get out there and show it to you.
Joe
Anybody-
loves doing it in the winter when it's cold.
Yes. And no ticks.
True.
I'm sorry to have to leave you, but thank you for what you do.
Thank you for all you do to help, Joe. You
See
do a
you,
lot
Joe.
for the town. Appreciate
I
it.
know.
All right, we'll skip back up to the 12-Town Alliance, and I
Yep.
can run through notes from the meeting unless one of the official people would like to do that.
I think that you and Paul are the official people. I just dial in, not to mention, I told Paul, I was so tired. I'm not sure if I remember a thing about that meeting.
I saw your name on this.
can I ask a question though? Did we finish on the Grady Thompson train wreck park next steps?
No. we just sort of skipped over. We can go back.
Okay,
You want to do that first?
well, I don't have anything for it. I
Because
just
some
didn't
of
know if there
some of
was.
This may be relevant to
Okay.
that, okay? All right. So I mentioned that they're talking about going for, in the alliance, these are the people that are, I'm not one of the,
You're not an official rep?
no.
Is it
you
just
are-
me and
you-
Paul?
Yes.
I thought
just-
you were too.
Oh, I just dial in because I want to know what's going on. No, I'm not. Like, I don't know if they let me vote if you guys weren't there, and when they tried.
I don't think they would
When
notice,
they-
Karen.
When they try to do that, no, but when they want to have a quorum, I'm not officially on the board.
I thought you were opening on that, something.
I don't know how they count it, if I'm totally honest, but whatever. I mean, Paul and I both identified ourselves when they were looking for the quorum today, so.
Right. All right, so anyway, legislative initiatives that they're working on is this 30 million in bonding to fix soft surface trails. If that comes out of out of the committee and then ever gets voted, and also part of that bill that they're working on is to have annual money for Connecticut Deep. So let's just hope that that is something that happens. Now, the grant that we didn't go for, and correct me if the Connecticut Recreational Trails Grant, the Alliance has applied for a signage
Yes.
grant. And it's based on the Hop River Trail. They've asked for about $230,000 to do 60 miles. And what's his name? The guy who does all the talking. Bruce, he's pretty positive that this is going to happen. So Connecticut RC&D would be the fiduciary on that grant because the Alliance is not yet a 501c3. What they would do is they would be the fiscal sponsor. Volunteers within each town would manage the contractors to do the signage. It's modeled after the signage on the Hop River Trail, and this would include mile markers, town line signs. So for emergency responders, you would have on the markers the town you're in and the mile marker, directional signs at all intersections, wayfinding signs in about a dozen places that tell you the trail's 30 miles away or something, whatever, wayfinding, you know, if you're in Thompson, it'll tell you where Willimantic is. And then they said every road along the route would have some kind of indication that there was a trail that you were crossing. So it's a big, all the things that we've talked about all the years that we want. So if they get that grant, Thompson's part of that alliance, we would get one of the signs that we're waiting for. There's also a new logo that they voted on for the alliance, not for the trail. And their website, they want us to check. I don't have to go on the website, or you can go on the website, see if anything that's listed under Thompson needs updating, or they want a link from like our webpage to go on this Alliance website so that people can come to find out about any events in Thompson. Although our website, if it's the town website, we don't update it, anything with that. It would just all on Facebook. So anyway, and they talked about again also on that website linking to the Connecticut Trail Finder. Right now, what's happening with that website is they're getting messages about maintenance, and all those are being sent to Deep. On this round of, for your interest, the round of trails, recreational trails grants, they had about 70 applications asking for $21 million, and there's a pot of 10 million. So right now they're in the process of grading and ranking all those grants. And then I guess it goes from Deep then to the Connecticut Greenways Council, who does even more fine tuning and deciding how much of each of those grants they're actually going to get. So if it's design and construction, they may say, oh, you're only getting design this year or whatever, because they're trying to move that money around to everybody. And they also are working on, if anything looks like a DOT project, instead, they're trying to pull those out of the grant applications and push them onto DOT. So, no, so there's somebody doing that.
Oh, that's
and
good,
it's
which
good.
I honestly think one of ours is because the water comes off the road, it goes down there, and they can say it doesn't, but you can clearly see it does.
Yeah, but we didn't apply for a grant for that.
No.
No, but if we did, they would probably try to push that off into DOT. So anyway, that's what the Greenways Council does. So I mentioned this big part of the grant for the Alliance was to have an event, and I assume this Willimantic Street Fest, June 18th,
That is the
is
event.
that event.
Yes, it is.
And that fulfills what we have to do on the grant, whether we want to go down to Willimantic for June. We can think about it, talk about it, whether we just want to go as a group and not have a table, but maybe we want to participate. Also, part of the grant is they have to have 2 public meetings, public information meetings. So there's one for the north section and one for the south section. That will be an in-person or Zoom in April, where they're going to ask for feedback from the public, and they don't know where that's going to be yet. But that's part of to fulfill the grant. They're working on the 501c3 designation. Probably that won't happen for several months. The Connecticut Trails Finder has made new maps for the north and south sections, and should be getting a PDF that can be printed. So he's gonna send the maps out for comment. If I see them, I will pass them on for comment. The towns that don't have Z maps are getting their Z maps soon.
We are also getting a small reprint.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. They're working on what the Alliance is gonna be doing for the year 26-27, and that includes some of the meetings and the event, the public event, let's see. And I think, and then I mentioned the Ride the East. I don't know when it's Saturday, May 16th. But I don't know what section of the airline they're doing yet.
Is that anything we're gonna have to help with or participate in?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they decide they want to do it in Thompson, I guess so, but I don't know where they're doing it. It's sponsored by the Trust for Public Land and I think the East Coast Greenway. So they did it on the south section, I think, of the airline last year. So more to come, and there's another meeting this month on the 23rd, so probably hear more about that then. So then we can go back up on the agenda to what's next for the train wreck park, and
Riders will explore the area's many historic and geological sites as a group. Briefly follow the airline trail north to the Hop River State Park.
that last year's.
Oh, that is last year's. That is last year's. I didn't do a search for 2026.
Yeah, that's not the north part of the trail.
So we must be starting somewhere in Willimantic coming our way.
No, that was,
Last year's.
Yeah, they did the south
No,
section
no,
last
this
year.
year. If they did that last year, they're probably starting there and coming this way this year.
Maybe, so
That would be
because
my
we have the
guess.
gaps in the trail, we may not be part of it.
Mhm.
But if anybody wants to find their bike, participate, there it is. So that's what I remember. Anything striking?
What's up?
Wake up, Paul.
Anything you want to say about that meeting?
It kind of drags on. Right.
I really was half asleep,
Bruce is not
trying
easy to listen.
desperately to listen, but I was so.
Bruce is a little slow getting to his point. Yeah. Don't feel bad.
I try to particularly pay attention when Jocelyn's talking, because I'm also on RCMP's council, so I really feel like I should know, but I was just,
She's done a lot of work for this.
she has.
Okay, onward.
Next step for train wreck park?
Do we have a next step? I don't know.
We theoretically can. I have to reconnect with Ken, Ken Golden from B&W Paving. So the work on the parking lot and the turntable, all that's complete. And I was concerned that we weren't gonna have enough money left to do any of the local road stuff, the traffic calming, striping, whatever. But we are gonna have some left. It took me so long to get his last, the bill that he submitted to me at the end of August, early September, didn't get paid out by the state until December. Yeah. So I have not followed back up with him since then, but I know that they've received it now, so he's just on my short list. So I'm gonna see what I can arrange with him for just the on-road stuff. I think it was primarily, road striping of some kind.
And where in relation to that was the Pomeroy sign?
I have not been following this Pomeroy sign
I
thing
think-
super closely, but I think that
It
it's,
should be near there.
yeah, well, it would be, I think, on the. If you're coming from the direction that I usually come from, which is like from the Speedway direction, so
From the south, going north.
from the south going north, then it would be obviously on that left-hand side, I think before you come into the parking lot area, is how I thought he was describing,
Oh, all
but
right,
I
'cause
could be
didn't know if-
wrong.
'cause
I could be wrong.
The traffic calming is coming down really most of it from
The worst,
from the north. And I
Yes.
just don't wanna confuse it with another sign there.
right, I see what you're
But-
saying, yeah,
okay.
yes, the traffic calming measures that we had described were primarily
Coming
coming
around
southbound,
Yeah.
because that's the S curve
where you
there,
can't see the,
right?
yeah. Okay.
But I also, he talked about that sign, he said it's also the site of the Thompson train station. Where's that sign supposed to go?
It's gotta be on road.
I think
It's on the
Joe went
road?
down there and he decided where he wanted to put it.
But it's not close to the road.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
It's on the town property.
where the gentle curve is what he was talking about.
I don't know if that's on the top, if that's where the new driveway is going in, or if that's down where the trail crosses. I don't know.
He said gentle curve and I was just kind of like,
There's no gentle curve. over
no, that's what I was, that's why I thought it
No,
was
but
off the
one-
road.
The one at the bottom, essentially the southernmost point is
That's the one where-
gentler,
where the trail goes across.
south that.
I'm thinking the gentle curve where the track would have been, because there was a curve in the track, right? That's why they couldn't see the train coming. I'm thinking wherever that was, it's where the sign's going,
But it's gonna be
not
on
the
the town
road.
prop, but it's gonna be on a road.
Yeah, but he also said there was some leeway as far as how far away from the road it was. I guess we should
And
have asked
then-
in that more direction.
And I thought it was just me that didn't know, so I didn't want to
No.
ask, so.
Because it gets described in words and nobody's looking at it,
Mm.
you know,
I had.
everybody probably comes
I
away with
had
a different
suggested
impression.
that it'd be where the trail path walks across, so people walking across could read it. If it's where the cars come in, people don't walk in there, they'd have to stop their car or park and go back.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
make a lot
it
of
is-
sense to
it is
be on
a
a roadside.
roadside
People aren't
sign
gonna be able to
program.
read it.
It is a
Is it
roadside
road?
side program, for sure.
And if it's right where the trail crossing is, that's the state property, not the town property.
The town owns 40 feet on the road, the road's 40 feet wide. So they own,
Okay.
this town side signs for like stop signs and
Yeah.
yield signs and stuff. So.
But I don't think it would be bad, I guess, where you said like the trail crosses, like, you know what I'm saying, with that rock that you put so people don't drive,
But
like,
there's already like 3 signs there.
right, trail crossing.
They put in the trail and the stop sign
Yeah.
and a bunch of other ones, so.
Well, regardless of the Pomeroy sign, there is. I wanna say there's probably another 30 grand left in the. Which is not as much as it sounds.
So there are
No,
some
but
things
I-
I would like to see done.
Well, the plan is the plan, so it would just be completing stuff that they already have plans for, that we held them off
It'd be
from.
nice to have some signage where all the stone foundations are, so when people are walking up there, they know what that is and they don't just, this used to be the depot station or the switch house or.
So that would have to be something else, because that was not
Part of the
a
original.
that was not a part of the scope of work. The stuff that Ken would be coming back to do would have to be in his existing scope of work that we held him back
So
from.
that would,
So,
so we couldn't add anything new to that, it's whatever was on the plan.
Because it's already been approved, right?
Right.
Well, what about
Something
even
we
the,
could Consider if we don't have to spend a lot of money on resurfacing, we still have.
But-
all that money in our budget that we could look at other things like that.
they also talked about the trails grant for signage, applied for the grant for 60 miles of trail and signage. That's part of
That's
it.
gonna be a little more specific, I
Of
think.
mile markers and road crossings and that kind of stuff.
Right, right, because it's all 12, so it's gonna be one unified program. But they did say that there was gonna be some
Hysterical bike.
wayfinding in
Yeah.
there, and some of that,
Might
yeah, there might be some opportunity. I wouldn't say that you're likely to get a lot out of that.
Can you make a list of what signs you would like to see in that area?
Can I ask a question about that too? The signs that they put in that area, like what would they be made out of? Like what's that? Yeah,
Good question. Well, speaking of signs, I had to repair the big sign, the one that was halfway up the trail, not the,
This train station?
the big signs. Last year, two of them came off, I had to repair them. The other one came off probably,
Are you talking about the Lucite signs?
pardon
Are
me?
you talking about the Lucite signs
So
with
we
the,
look through.
Ones with the pictures?
Yeah, the big 2 foot by 3 foot sign.
yeah,
The one that was in the middle, I had to repair that one. They're just glued on. And with the temperature changes or whatever, and the wind blowing, they blow off, so I had to, clean it off, repaint it, and it's pop riveted on now. I had to do that to the other two end signs. Anyway,
Thank you, Paul.
What are you talking about the frame to the post that came apart or the picture? Came out of
Picture
the
itself.
frame? It came out of the frame.
yeah,
No, I don't think he's talking about the ones you look through. He's talking about the ones that are,
yeah.
they're kind of angled.
The ones on the middle,
Oh, the ones.
They're metal
that
and
are-
they're angled.
Okay,
That
the
gives you
narrative
information.
signs.
Yeah.
I got a picture of it. Anyway. No, seriously,
so
no,
they came right out.
got no sign on it.
Yeah,
It's
you
too
found it in the woods.
No, it's on the side. One of the guys walking the trail, he texts me and says, "Oh, your sign fell off again."
But you said you riveted it in now.
Yes,
Set it cool.
that's what I did with the other two also.
Problem solved.
What it looks like really happened is when they put those signs on. So when the sign came off, the glue they use is really, really good. I had to use a buffer thing to scrape all the glue off the thing. But what happened is the glue stuck to the paint, but I think the paint wasn't cured when they put the sign on. So it ripped the paint off, the paint stuck to the sign and the metal's all bare, weird and rusty weird. But it was on.
Jesus.
Okay,
Paul, was there something else that you wanted to
I
request
got-
there? You
I
said the
got
signs,
things
but
that I would like to.
what else did you have?
So I was looking at this a turntable. And there's a nice turntable. Let's see if I can. Where right here. So what they did this is a place in North Street, they got a turntable. And then they got the engine house. And the engine house, we have a dual, there's two things. So what they did is they put crushed stone showing where their tracks used to go.
Oh.
So what they did here. So here's the
Yeah.
engine house, so they put crushed stone, gives you an indication of that's where the train used to go between there. So I was thinking about doing something like that.
Did you ever get the rest of the bricks?
No, I do not.
So that's still something.
Are they regular bricks?
Pardon
Are
me?
they regular bricks?
No, the bricks that went in the bottom.
Yeah,
They're old bricks, they're not bricks with the hole, they're not.
Okay,
newer
they're not
style bricks, yeah.
building
But this,
foundation
somebody,
bricks or.
None hanging around from where that
Everything, yeah.
tower fell down?
Well, that's what I was thinking, where the tower fell down and, Robert
those
Lutz is his
bricks are
property,
I don't
he
think-
might donate them. but
I
it's just
believe he
rock
already
brick.
has somebody who's interested in that brick,
Mhm.
before you get excited about
Couldn't
that.
spare
It's
50
the rock
of
brick anyway.
them? I said they couldn't spare 50 of them.
Probably need about 100.
No, 100. It's a big tower. Sure, there are thousands.
But somebody said they had some, I never got,
I don't know if I'll find that phone number.
I couldn't find them.
All right.
All right, that's one.
Two,
Thought you said you had four.
signs,
Oh.
crushed stone.
Okay, so there's one other structure that was there that still has a foundation that we did not uncover.
Oh,
And that's called a section house. And that was in between the turntable. If you're standing in the turntable and facing the trail, it was kind of like diagonal to the trail. There was a big two-story building. We got pictures of it on an aerial photograph from 1936 or 34. So there's a foundation.
you think there's still a foundation there? Did the LiDAR show that or? do
There
we know?
should be a foundation. There was a structure there.
Hmm.
So it'd be nice to kind of find out. Kind of like what we did with the switch house.
Yeah,
Because originally the switch house wasn't part of the whole thing because it wasn't, we didn't know where it was or whatever. So I went down there and, excavated that, so that's there.
Mhm.
But that should probably get finished off by putting crushed stone on the inside like we did on the other structures also. So that was one of the other things that I mentioned.
and none of that would fit the, contracts, the money that still
Maybe,
has to be wrapped up.
maybe that.
Okay.
Cause it would be sort of in kind to things they'd already done,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but I've gotta get back in touch with Ken soon, before they start setting their.
Doesn't hurt to ask, you've got the ideas, so
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
find out.
That was four?
That was four, right?
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm not good.
So we had
Sign.
put crushed stone in where the tracks were.
Make
excavate-
signs, make
Yeah, put the
signs.
signs up, excavate the unknown foundation and.
Section
put that
house.
Crushed stone in.
Fresh stone and
the
these foundations we found, yeah.
What was that building called? What was the building?
Section house?
called?
Called section house.
Section.
And the section house, from my understanding, it was called a section house because people lived there. And they were responsible for that section of the tracks.
Huh,
So it looked like they actually probably lived there because it was a two-story building.
Oh, wow.
And how many signs do you think? there
I don't
are?
know.
Right, make a list. Okay. Okay,
All set, Paul,
Yeah.
John? No, you all set?
No, I was good. I didn't know what the next steps were. That's why I was asking. So
Yeah.
I didn't have any steps.
those are good steps.
Yeah,
My
Lot
next
of
step is
steps.
getting back in touch with the
yeah.
contractor. And then I would be very happy to be closing that grant out for realsies.
Second bike section, obviously I haven't got over there with the
Right.
snow and stuff that's there, but once we get some clearing over there, I'll take pictures where I thought, we talked about last meeting,
Mhm.
so we can send them to DEP to get. Okays.
All right, so the second bike repair station in Mechanicsville, has that been put in or is that
That's
still in the
what-
box?
That's what we're talking about. We have to get approval for where we want to put it.
Okay.
And we're supposed to put some like orange markers or something so they can tell where it is and take some pictures and send it to them. But again, with the snow and stuff, I hadn't get out there and it's been a little chilly.
Okay,
state won't come out for sure.
No, it didn't.
maintenance and work days, we're gonna have to wait until the snow leaves. I think.
Instead of saying work days, we should say snow days.
Snow days.
So I'll try and send something out. Maybe we can send something up for April, because April's our next meeting, but it's kind of hard if we come to a meeting in April and then try to set
Work.
something up like a week later or 2 weeks later. So maybe I can look at the calendar and we can throw something in like late April. What the heck is this? I'm auto connected to a satellite, so now I can send and receive messages. Wow. Thompson's really stepping up its game, internet stuff here.
Not our satellite.
Okay, so we're on to Facebook, social media, PR outreach, maps, brochures, flyers, Facebook post and bike route map.
I haven't heard anything from Charlie on the bike route.
Has anybody heard anything from Charlie in an awfully long time about anything?
Yes, I seen him posting on social media after the storm. He had problems with his snowblower.
Yeah.
So that was only last week. So I haven't really talked to him. Well, actually, he did send me a couple messages about stuff. But, so yes, I've heard from him. Nothing for the meeting, but
And we're still getting interaction with Facebook pages. Just 17 hours ago, I got a notification that Turkey Trot has 17 new views. And I know I've seen Trails get views, and I think you put something out about the meeting
I
tonight.
did, I posted that the meeting was tonight.
Okay, so we're on to Connecticut Trail Census.
I just told them that we wanted to keep the northern, counter. And they were gonna leave the other one, I guess, through the winter, so I don't know how long before they take the lower one out. Or they'll just forget. So won't remind.
Equipment tools status update, maintenance.
Well, I just got one thing I need to do when the weather gets better, and that's repair one of the gas tanks that's on the brush cutter one. We had 2 gas tanks, and last time we went out, it leaked gas everywhere. I bought some fittings for it, but it's sitting in the shed, snowed in, so.
Did you submit anything on the sign? Okay.
We're good.
$65 Main?
Well, we awarded the contract for the remaining architectural. I have signed that contract. They're going to dial into the MISRAC meeting on Friday to discuss moving forward. And I still need the SIP grant finalized there for that reno. The stuff relevant to this committee, the bottomlands area and the new trails has been bound up in an appropriations request through Courtney's office. I got a little bit optimistic a month or so ago when I saw something come from one of Murphy's aides that the local appropriations had been approved. Mine's through Courtney. So I followed up with Courtney's office and it's still in a holding pattern. I cannot imagine any local funding comes through in the current Congress, but it is what it is. So eventually they will either tell me that we're getting the funding or that we're not getting the funding. And as soon as they tell me we're not getting the funding, I'll look for another source. But all the other work around it is proceeding. And I did submit, really super relevant to trails, but I did submit a grant to the Community Foundation of Eastern Connecticut for capacity building of the 501c3 that's gonna sort of run the facility. Lafredo and Nick and I and Jocelyn and some other people are the inaugural board, but we're not gonna be the ones running that organization in the future, but we got a great proposal. So if we can get that funding, then that'll be another piece of that huge close. And that's that.
Okay, reports from neighboring towns.
There are no neighboring towns present.
On to new agenda items for future meetings.
I think the only thing is what came up right about the inviting
Inviting Rob Warge.
to the next meeting to talk about what Joe had brought up.
And we have the town leadership roundtable on March 27th. And I'm representing Trails at that. And as I sent out in the email group, there was a student that
Oh, the high school, yeah.
contacted me about the project, and I had invited him tonight to at least be on Zoom, being a freshman, and he doesn't have the ability to drive here. So I'm sure his parents probably didn't have that ability, although he did not show up on Zoom. So I guess we won't talk further until March 27th. There was another student listed on the roster that was interested in trails. So.
Spring outdoors will have started by the time the next meeting happens. If anybody's interested in that.
PLGB will have a new executive director soon. I don't know that that's been officially announced yet, but
Well, they interviewed last week, so. I don't believe that it has been announced, but I'm pretty sure of who that person would be.
indeed so.
Nice.
Oh, they're making eyes at each other.
I know,
Like, we don't know.
but we will soon.
For whatever it's worth, I am gonna be the president of the board for RCND when the fiscal year rolls. John Guskowski is finally stepping away from that, and they finally bamboozled me into taking over for him.
And Lois will be leaving that also.
Yes, Lois will be leaving that. Also.
So spring outdoors goes from when to when?
Spring outdoors, spring, April 20th. I mean, March 20th,
March.
to June 21st or 23rd, whenever the
For
summer
whole spring.
solstice is. They keep changing that on me. It was always 21 and 21, but
So if we wanted to do an event,
You could consider it now.
we
I
could
believe is the
consider it
plan.
now. We could also talk about it in April.
Yeah, because those you can add, it doesn't get printed, it just goes on the
Yeah.
website.
See if we have a spring.
I'm good with winter, I like it. More
Had enough
ice,
of it.
more ice.
Okay, anything else? Last chance.
Next business meeting is April 6th.
Are we
Make a
adjourned?
motion to adjourn?
Second?
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Amen.
What time do you really have? 7:52.
7:52.
no, we're done early.
Well.